Hello everybody, and welcome to this, a bit of a review and a bit of a summary of what Warhammer 40k Eternal Crusade is as a game, as well as my thoughts on what maybe should be in the game and what needs to be added, and what could be added in future. So as you can see on screen, it's a third-person shooter action game, I would describe it. Action because there are melee elements in this game, and it's not just a shooter. You're kind of swinging the chainsaws, swinging the fists, all that good stuff. So yeah, and what you're doing with this style of combat is fighting over these points. Either you're defending them or you're attacking, and you play as one of the 4 playable races in the game. These races are the Space Marines, who are the super soldiers of humanity. Then you've got their corrupt cousins, the traitor Chaos Space Marines, who are corrupted by the 4 Chaos Gods, and who are kind of all nasty and all that good stuff. Then you've got the Orcs, who are literally space orcs, as you would imagine them. They are brutish, tribalish, they love to fight. And then you've got the Eldar, who are the space elves, and yeah, again, as you would imagine them, they're graceful, they are elegant, and they have super high tech. So with these races, you will hop into a game after having selected one of your characters, which will be one of these races, and then you will choose from one of your classes. And each race has a variation on a number of themes. So each race has a heavy weapons class, each race has a jump assault class, each race has a support class, etc, etc. So yeah, you will choose a class, choose a race, and then hop into a game to either assault or defend these capture points. Sometimes you will have to capture them in order. As you can see in this game, that is the case. And sometimes you will have to just capture them whatever order you want. All 3 points will be open to assault at any one moment, which makes defense and offense kind of more tricky, because you have to coordinate your assaults and also coordinate your defense a bit more, because you could be attacked at any point really. So you have to spread out your forces, and that makes it a really quite interesting dynamic. So yeah, in this game, as most games of this genre have at the moment, there are customization options and loadouts. So in your loadouts, you choose your weapons, you choose your trinkets, your war gear, which give you like health boosts and stamina boosts and all that. But you also choose your cosmetic appearance. So as you just saw, I was looking at the gear for the Eldar, which there isn't much of at the moment. But if we look at the Chaos gear, which I will in a moment on the screen, there is quite a lot of stuff in terms of helm designs. There's also left shoulder pad designs with like leering demonic visages kind of protruding from your shoulder pad, and you've also got chest plate designs. But as you can see just now, there are a number of cosmetic options for the backpacks, for the legs, for the right shoulder pad, weirdly enough, that are just straight up missing from the game. And this is a thing that I will come back onto. It's one of my main criticisms of the game at the moment. So yeah, you can customize your war gear, you can customize your appearance, and before making each character for each race, you can customize which chapter or faction within that race you want the colour scheme of, essentially. So I'm playing for Chaos, the Wordbearer Legion, and their colour scheme is, dark reddish, kind of basically the colour of blood. So yeah, and here you can see I'm rank 1 for Chaos, and with each game you complete, you get more experience, you eventually rank up to rank 2, rank 3, rank 4, rank 5, and with each rank up you get advancement points, which allows you to unlock discounts on particular types of war gear for particular classes, as well as additional war gear such as all your grenades, your health kit, grenade bundles, etc, etc, as well as like veteran classes for each of the races. There are also elite unlocks on this advancement kind of unlock tree. So for Chaos, the elite unlock is a mark from one of the 4 Chaos Gods. So the mark for Khorne gives you massive amounts of lifesteal and bonuses on melee. Whereas the elite unlocks for the Space Marines, as we can see on screen here, featured, their elite unlocks are Iron Halos, so they just give you like a massive boost in survivability. Which I believe is how it works. I might be mistaken, but yeah. So yeah. You fight over these control points with your custom-made loadouts. To begin with, the pre-made loadouts offered by the game are just way better than anything you can possibly make, so just don't bother. But once you've ranked up and unlocked a bunch of advancement points, and bought a bunch of war gear with the in-game currency that you earn after each match, you will eventually have enough stuff to make making a custom loadout worth it. But when you first start the game, just don't bother. Play the presets. They're solid. They're not amazing, but they're good enough to play. That's my advice. So that's basically the summary part of this video. That's what this game is. You fight over these control points. You reinforce, which I don't think I've mentioned, on troop transport vehicles. So if you're assaulting, you want to spawn a transport vehicle, move it up to a disguised location, a hidden away kind of hovel, I would describe it, and then just let your squads spawn on that transport vehicle. It's a lot like PlanetSide 2 if you've played that game. If you haven't, basically protect your transports and spawn them routinely, because they are very important to maintaining a continual assault. So, what is not so good about this game? What's not so good is the fact that it's quite clearly unfinished, and to be frank, it could have done with another couple of weeks of continual patches and additions in early access. The fact that many customization options, as I've shown, are not yet in the game shows that it's not really a finished product. And that's not really good for first impressions from players who are just trying it out. The fact that this game actually is a one-off purchase, though, will help its player base simply because once a player has bought a game, unless it's god-awful, which this game is not, the gameplay is very solid and fun, as are the individual races, the fact that they've invested in it already with the purchase means that people will come back and try this, even if initially it's not quite the product it should be. So yeah, the fact that all the customization options for some of the body parts are not yet in, that really sucks, because I believe that what this game should aim to become is the ultimate third-person 40k fanboy dream. And what I mean by that is, to explain it, if you're familiar with Dawn of War, the computer game series, that was kind of the RTS 40k fanboy dream. If they wanted to make an army and just fight online, they could do that in that game. They could choose whatever race, because with all the expansion packs, more or less every race was represented in the game. Yeah, so that's what Dawn of War was. If you're not familiar, it was an RTS series, a real-time strategy series that allowed you to play as many of the races in large-scale multiplayer battles with like hundreds of units. Essentially the tabletop game translated into a computer game, so it's super cool. And it kind of cornered that niche of the 40k kind of computer game market really nicely. That's what this game needs to do, just for the third-person kind of shooter niche. If people love 40k, they will buy this game, if it's good enough, just to live out their dreams of, you know, hacking apart people as a Khorne berserker. They will buy a chain axe for their character and just go all in on Khorne and just murder people, because they love 40k. And that's what a 40k berserker kind of does. And that's the kind of person this game needs to appeal to. It needs to just hook in all of the 40k dudes and get them playing, because no other game has done this before. Large-scale multiplayer fights with many of the various super cool 40k races. Like, this is such a uncharted thing, and therefore is such kind of potential ridden as a thing, that it really does need to do it justice. And one way it can do this is through increasing racial identity and racial flavour. So, if you're familiar with 40k, you know that each race has a sort of a walker type unit, or a elite unit. So the Space Marine faction race, they have Dreadnoughts, Eldar have Wraith Lords, Orcs have Death Dreads or Killer Cans, and Chaos Space Marines have demons and, you know, corrupted versions of Dreadnoughts. So what would be super cool is if, in this game, maybe once per match, you know, the best player on your team gets promoted for one life into this super unit, so to speak. Obviously this is kind of just throwing stuff at a wall here, but that would be so damn cool that I would totally dig that, and I think everyone else would. No matter if you're into 40k or if you're not, the fact that you have the potential to become this super powerful unit and be a real asset to your team if you're doing really well, you get this kind of super cool reward, everyone loves you, and you become an absolute badass for a moment. I would love to see something like that, just a further push racial identity. So the Orc Death Dread, their Walker, is way different from the Eldar Walker, the Wraith Lord, because that's like super elegant, and the Death Dread for the Orcs is just like cobbled together with bits of scrap, basically. And it's got like spinning saw blades in its arms. It's all very orky and very contrasting to the Eldar Wraith Lord, who is elegant, standing, you know, with a massive sword, all that good stuff for Eldar. Yeah, that's just like a quick idea of what they could add to this game to make it even cooler. And that is really one of the main hooks of this game. It's meant to be a cool game, and the fact that it's massively scaled, here you can see on screen I'm just like hosing down Orcs with this Dark Reaper, the heavy support class for the Eldar, and that's basically one of the many fantasies of the 40k universe that you can fulfill in this game. You can just like murder hordes of Orcs once their warg triggers. And that's totally awesome, and that's more of this kind of thing needs to be appealed to. And so adding these super units once again would kind of increase this kind of dream for 40k fanboys. So yeah, customization, that needs to be finished off, and more racial identity. So one thing at the moment that's slightly troubling is the fact that people are complaining a bit. I don't know if these complaints are well founded, but they're complaining that Eldar are OP. And one of the reasons for this is that they have high damage, often one-hit kill weapons, but are not balanced in the sense that they are not glass cannony to kind of counter the power of their weapons. So in the fluff, Eldar are really fragile, but have really high-tech gear, and so can kill you super quickly. But in this game, some people are arguing that they just take too much damage to kill, and that kind of breaks immersion and kind of breaks their fantasy for 40k. And that sucks, and that might be a legit complaint, I don't know. But yeah, that's one of the things they kind of need to look at. They do just need to increase racial identity. The fact that the Orcs already have the War mechanic, which is whenever in certain game modes the clock reaches 5 minutes, like 5 minutes till the end of the game, the Orcs get a 0 timer on their respawn, so they instantly respawn. And they also do more damage and run faster, I believe. Or maybe take less damage, I'm not too sure. But that feature is super cool, because it's super flavoursome for the Orc faction and the race. Because that's what they do, they hoard round and love to fight. More mechanics like that would be totally awesome for each of the races. You know, give Space Marines drop pods, so they don't have to use rhinos to assault a position. give Chaos random demons or whatever. I don't know. But things like that would drag in 40k people like crazy. And I think they need to add more of that. As well as just finish off the game, you know. More customization options, finish off that system, more war gear, more stuff, basically. More stuff, that's my review. We're done. I love the game, I've got to be honest. Being a bit of a 40k fanboy, this game is doing something that no other game can do, and therefore, yeah, I'm really glad that it exists, and I think many people are in that same kind of mindset. But, yeah. The game is good, the gameplay is good. If you like 40k, I would definitely recommend it. If you don't like 40k, then it's a very solid third-person, large-scale kind of conquest-style shooter. And a point in its favour, the developers are rapidly updating it. So if you like the look of the gameplay, feel free to get it. If you want to see more videos like this, feel free to sub. And if you liked, drop a like. If you want to comment on anything I said in the video, drop a comment in the comment section below, and I'll see you guys, hopefully, in the next video. Thanks for watching, as always. Ta-ta.